Why should we measure our own communication skills? Hello and welcome to Communication Psychology. My name is Gerhard. I'm a psychologist from Hamburg, Germany, specialized in an international, intercultural and multi-language context. Communication is considered a so-called soft skill. So why should we take care of it? Why should we analyze it if it's so evident? For example, you may say, well, in our company, we have an excellent culture, so we rarely have conflicts. Or in our company or team, it's clear who the best communicators are. They are those with the best results. In a sales team, with the best sales results. So, or if it's in customer relations, well, then it's the employee with the best rating, the most favorable rating by customers or colleagues. Now, why should we complicate matters further? Well, in the first case, what actually may be happening is that lots of conflicts are under the surface, or you as a supervisor or colleague may not be aware of all the conflicts because they are not discussed in the open, but they are discussed in employees' families, or when employees meet in private, communicate in private. So on the surface, it's a very, very pacific and a very agreeable environment in your company, but maybe it's because people feel that they should not speak up if they have some concerns. And I'm not talking here about the obvious concerns like you feel discriminated against, or there's sexual harassment. No, but in any company, in any social group, there are norms, and norms are implicit rules of behavior. So if you come into a company, you immediately feel, is this a place where disagreements, different opinions are openly shared? And if yes, to what extent? So of course you may say, well, we have brainstorming sessions, and we have an open door policy, and we have all different kinds of tools so that employees share their opinion. However, the important question is not yes or no. Do we have an open door policy? Do we share opinions? But the question is, to what extent? And if we compare this with families, you all have experience with your family, with families of others. There are some families where the authority figure, like the parents typically, or grandparents, they allow criticism of themselves to a greater or a lesser degree. And there are families where children wouldn't dare to contradict their parents. But most of us are somewhere in between. And I'm highly suspicious that somebody telling we don't have any conflicts in our company or in our team, that we really have a healthy communication culture. Because it should be normal. It's normal to have disagreements and even strong emotions in a team over a longer period of time. So the fact that they are not being felt by anybody means that they are happening under the surface. So an employee may consider, well, our company is so positive on LinkedIn, and we have so many team buildings and so on. We have created such a beautiful facade. Well, maybe I better shut up and don't destroy this positive atmosphere. This may be quite oppressive too. So you should really go under the surface, because all those disagreements under the surface, they may lead to maybe less engagement during the job, or people just disappear over a certain period of time and you don't know why. Some things are not as they should be or could be. And you cannot put your finger on it, because the same with children, especially when they're growing older. My child was so quiet and we had no conflicts in our family, and then something happened. Why? The same in a company. And it may be that the child or the employee hasn't felt that, well, if I say something very ugly and very provocative and very critical, then people will react adequately and take care of my concerns. Or if you imagine a religious gathering, then there are some religious groups, they are based on some kind of positivity norm. We are all saints in this group, or we only speak about the positive. Well, then all the negative that you automatically will have as a human being, it goes somewhere else, and it manifests indirectly. It may manifest in passive aggression, for example. People not commenting where they should comment. So this is one issue. The other issue is, you say, well, I know who the good communicators in our company are. They are the most liked among employees and customers, or they have the best results, they sell the most. So why measure our communication skills here? Now, the problem here is, well, if you have very good salespeople or otherwise communicative employees, well, you would like the other ones to become also better. And just knowing that someone is number one and has the best sales results, doesn't show you automatically why he obtained it. So what concrete parts of his or her communication skills are decisive? So if you gather data and observe interactions and rate them and find different dimensions what to observe, well, you may think that you know why his communication is so good. Maybe you say he has charisma, or he's smiling a lot. But if you study the boy methodically, maybe you find out that there is something different that you weren't thinking about. So you look on the surface and say, well, he is smiling all the time. Well, everybody should smile more. Or he is charismatic. Okay, you should be more charismatic. Or we should employ only charismatic people. Now, but maybe it's something else. For example, if you're working in B2B relations and B2B selling, maybe the best results are obtained by the people who know potential customers better. So you can maybe you can do the following. You ask a team of sales managers, salespersons, or any type of people, any kind of profession. What do they know? Let them make a list of significant clients, colleagues, potential clients. Make a list of all the names, and of the first 5, let them write down all information they have about this person, what they know about them. Are they married? Do they have children? What their hobbies, interests are, and so on and so on. And probably you will realize that they have more information. They have established a relationship where they are better informed about the clients or colleague than the people who are not so good communicators. And if you make it as an experiment and you have 5 team members go into a room and meet a person they don't know and give them exactly half an hour or 50 minutes, and then measure after they come out what information they obtained, then you will see that there's a big difference between people. Some may have obtained lots of information, others less, and you can also analyze the importance or impact of that information. So maybe someone is very good, he comes out and tells you what the private professional concerns of the other person are. Other may gather maybe more superficial information. So if this is a starting point that could explain the different performance of salespeople or customer relation managers, then the next question would be, well, what contributes to this output of more or deeper information? And then once again, you should watch people, how they converse. And what you may get as a result is that maybe you would think, well, they ask better questions, or they ask more questions, they ask open questions and not yes or no questions. But maybe you observe something different. We have our preconceptions how it should work. Maybe they are eliciting more information by reciprocity. So maybe they start by telling a bit about themselves, disclosing lots of private personal information that makes the other person reciprocate without asking any kind of question. So maybe they actually ask less questions than the people who get less information. So maybe they don't ask many questions at all, but they just have a conversation where they share something, the other person shares something, and the other person feels more or less obliged to reciprocate. So, and many other things you could study, depending on what the purpose of your team is. If you don't do this, how should you train or recruit new employees? What is the criteria? Probably it's a wrong criteria. So please tell me your opinions, your insights, experiences, and contradict me where you feel I'm off the rails or I'm wrong. I wish you much success with your communication. If you want me to give a small introduction to communication psychology in your team, please contact me. All the contact details are here. Bye-bye.